Yo, it's your boy Jacob. Today we're doing part 2 of why I'm suing the city of Albert Lea. This is our petition for the writ of certiorari. This is in the appellate court. Certiorari in Latin means to be more fully informed or to be made certain. Again, that's Latin. The writ of cert allows us to look back at final decisions made by quasi-judicial bodies. In this case, the city council / mayor / city of Albert Lea. We're asking the court to review their quasi-judicial decision, their actions, the city council's actions, to see if they acted within their discretion. Again, they really didn't have any discretion. And that in and of itself is why we also sued in the district court with a writ of mandamus. With that writ of mandamus, that means more or less to compel a certain action. Anyways, back to the writ of cert. The mandamus matter will be addressed in the next video, so just stay tuned for that. With this writ of cert, the answer does seem blatantly clear, and that lack of discretion is what blurs the lines. More so, we don't really want to reach the end of one avenue, the end of one road, whether the writ of cert or writ of mandamus, and then be told by that overseeing judge that we should have taken the other road, you know? So we're juggling both at the same time so that both matters were filed timely, so that everything is responded to in a timely manner, so that we don't run out of our time. The time limits on these are pretty tight. So if you do hire an attorney, interview them, ask them a lot of questions, make sure they're the right fit for the job. A lot of people are going to be like, oh, I need a cannabis law attorney. No, you don't. You need an attorney that's good at that specific niche of law. You know, you could have a criminal law matter that has the niche of cannabis because you have a criminal cannabis matter, right? You could have a cannabis matter that falls under the arch of municipality and administrative law, which is what this would be. So you want to find a lawyer that's good at administrative law, not necessarily a cannabis lawyer. We're not really going over cannabis laws here. What we're going over is the Minnesota statutes, how they pertain to the actions of the city of Albert Lea and their own city ordinances, which again is municipal law. Hopefully that helps someone. Also, quick shout out. Every video I'm going to try to wear a piece of apparel I've designed and made. This is the potted plant beanie I made when working with the Tommy Chong brand. I thought it would be fitting for this. Everyone says clean up your look, blah, 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 blah. I'm just trying to chill, man. So, yeah, I think we're good to continue. I'm going to switch out my video here so you can read stuff. So right here on page 1, it's nothing too crazy. You just got the respondent and petitioner. The petitioner, City of Albert Lea, and City Council respondents. You got the case file number, which actually isn't in this. But I'll follow up, and in the addendum video, you'll see the case file number. The cases are public. You can look everything up and reference this with your attorney if you're in a similar issue. Issues like this arise in all forms of industries, not just cannabis. So in some ways, these rulings might help other businesses. A lot of people are like, why didn't you just give up instead of spending the money on this? Because I care about my citizens. Because I care about our government's interactions and ability to shove shit down our throat. Because I love all of the people in our state, in our nation, in our world. And I don't think it's right that we pay taxes just to have a government body violate our rights. That's it. My haters can attack me and say all sorts of crazy shit about me. But at the end of the day, I'm doing this not just for me, but for every single person that comes after me that might be in this position. I walk the walk and I talk the talk, eh? Not to get too self-laudatory with it, but let's begin. Petitioner's statement of the case. court or agency of case origination and name of presiding judge or hearing officer. It's an appeal from the denial of a cannabis retail registration by the City of Albert Lea and or Albert Lea City Council. Jurisdictional statement, nothing is applicable. Oh. I'm hitting the wrong button. There we go. Date of filing of any motion that tolls appeal, nothing applicable, nothing applicable. B, certiorari appeal, statute, rule, or other authority authorizing certiorari appeal, MnStat Chapter 606. There they define the city council actions are quasi-judicial and subject to certiorari review if it is the product or result of discretionary investigation, consideration, and evaluation of evidentiary facts. Now, we got authority fixing timeline for obtaining certiorari review, MnStat 606.01. No writ shall be issued to correct any proceeding unless it is issued within 60 days after the party applying for such writ shall have received due notice of the proceeding sought to be reviewed thereby. The denial of my registration was on July 28th, and they declined to reconsider that on the 11th, which starts our timeline. C, non-applicable. D, finality of order of judgment. Does the judgment or order to be reviewed dispose of all claims by and against all parties, including attorney's fees? Yes, the denial of my registration by the City of Albert Lea / City Council was unconditional and final. The City of Albert Lea and or the City Council declined to reconsider that denial. If no, all that's not applicable. E, criminal non-applicable. 3, type of litigation and statutes at issue. This is a certiorari action challenging the denial of petitioner's application to the City of Albert Lea and or the Albert Lea City Council for a cannabis retail registration. The primary statute at issue is MnStat 342.22. Primary city ordinance is Albert Lea City Ordinance, Chapter 5, particularly 5.023. 4, brief description of claims, defenses, issues litigated, and results below. MnStat Chapter 342 sets out framework for the regulation of cannabis, establishes the Office of Cannabis Management, states that the OCM is empowered to issue licenses pursuant to law. In addition to holding a license from OCM under MnStat 342.22, a cannabis business is told that they have to register with the city, town, county, whatever, where the retail establishment is located, to make retail cannabis sales. However, under MnStat 342.22, a local unit of government, the City of Albert Lea, shall issue a retail registration. Emphasis added. Shout out to David. We got to really slap him in the face with that one. To an eligible business. So I'm going to read that again. And hopefully some of you city fucks are listening. A local unit of government shall issue a retail registration to an eligible business that meets just 4 objective criteria, because shall is mandatory. So there's the legalese definition of the word shall. It is mandatory. It is not may. It is not some other bullshit. It is, they have to do it. And they broke the law by not doing it. Now, because there is only 4 objective criteria and they shall issue a registration, once again, this is where it blurs the line, because they really don't have any discretion. So if we go over to the last sentence here, MnStat 642.44, subdivision 16, the statute does not grant local units of government discretion to deny cannabis retail registration applications that meet the statutory criteria. Ding, ding, ding. Petitioners hold a license from the OCM to operate a cannabis microbusiness. I applied to the City of Albert Lea for the retail registration. I was the first to apply to the City of Albert Lea, and I met the statutory criteria for the issuance of a cannabis registration application. Oh, excuse me. However, on July 28th, 2025, the City of Albert Lea through the City Council of Albert Lea denied my application. The Albert Lea City Council neither discussed nor found that petitioners did not meet the criteria for a cannabis retail registration. Rather, the City of Albert Lea made their basis for its decision purely out of politics. Its members expressed disagreement with state law and declined to follow it. So, What do we call people who decline to follow laws? Hit me in the comments. What do we call them? What do we call people who don't follow the law? Lawbreakers, rule breakers, criminals. Okay, cool. What do we call people who are in positions of power, positions of authority that break the law? Tyrants, kings, despots, dictators. Now, I personally believe, I'm going to go on a little rant here, but I personally believe that if you're in a position of power and you break the law, that you should be immediately removed from that position, barred from holding any future positions, and immediately incarcerated until we can have a proper trial for you. In this instance, I would say arrest every single person that voted to break the law. Arrest Larry Baker, arrest Rich Murray, arrest Rachel Christensen, arrest Keith Van Beek. They need to do time, and we need to set an example that we, the people, are not going to take this lying down. Back in the day, you would tar and feather someone, guillotine them, firebomb their house type of thing with a Molotov. Now, I'm not saying do any of that. Write them a strongly worded email, but keep it professional and polite. If that. But these politicians aren't afraid of us anymore. And that is why we have lost the power. It is we the people, not we the corrupt or we the corporations. It is we the people, by the people, for the people. And if you break the laws, if you use our own tax money, our own tax revenue to break the laws and then fund frivolous defenses for your own criminal activity, that is beyond heinous. That is outright evil. And you should be more than ashamed of doing such a thing. The citizens of this great nation deserve better. Period. Carrying on, at the Albert Lea City Council's next meeting on August 11th, 2025, the body declined to take up motion for reconsideration. Point 5. Specific issues proposed to be raised on appeal. Petitioners intend to raise a single primary issue on appeal that the City of Albert Lea and or the City Council of Albert Lea denied my application for a cannabis retail registration, and that denial was unreasonable, arbitrary, capricious, or contrary to law. Related appeal, we're unaware of prior or pending appeals that have risen from this matter. We're unaware of separate actions raising similar issues to this appeal. 7, contents of the record. Is a transcript necessary? Is a full transcript necessary? Have we been delivered the transcript? As of now, we do have it. The city sent us 370 plus pages of mostly nonsensical administrative records for this matter. I have to ask myself, was this an honest and good faith submission of records or a sly way to rack up billable hours? Certainly a point that needs to be brought up. Other, pursuant to the writ of cert, the City of Albert Lea and the Albert Lea City Council's administrative record will be delivered to the Court of Appeals. Yep. Oral argument is requested. 9, type of brief to be filed. A formal brief under Min Rule Civil Appellate Procedure 128.02 will be filed. I think I read all of that abbreviated stuff right. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Anyways, that sums everything up. We're sub 15 minutes. There's not really much else to say about this other than no matter the intentions of the city, whether it was political, personal, or something in between, the law is black and white. The city ordinance was first come, first served, as I showed you in the first video. And I also showed you 342.22 and 342.13, which kind of takes away the city's discretion. Overall, the petitions for this writ of cert doesn't vary too much from the writ of mandamus due to the nature of the incident, but the method of relief we are seeking is kind of going to be the main difference. One is to review final decisions, and the other is to compel an action. Hopefully this helps someone. The whole goal, again, of doing this is to help someone. GetSlicks.com for the hat if you want to buy one for yourself. They're nice quality, and I believe cotton. Like, share, sub. Hit me up with any comments or questions. I'm happy to pay my attorney to even help us answer questions for the public here because, again, I'm doing this for the love of the game and the love of the people in this great nation and really nothing more. I don't gain anything really out of this. It's just a pit to throw my money in and set it on fire. Who knows? Like, share, sub, peace.